So today we're going to be talking about one of our last lessons with solving equations. It's what to do when you have an equation that seems to kind of work out a little bit weird. And it's what happens when you get answers of no solution or all real numbers. And the best way to kind of show this to you is to just kind of work through the problems like normal, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to start the process like normal, follow the steps like normal. So before we get started, make sure you have the graphic organizer in front of you. If you don't happen to have it in front of you, it is available on the website as well. And if you listen to any of the other videos with solving equations, you'll notice that the steps are normally listed down the right-hand side, but on my video they're not. But I will reference those steps as we go along. So, goal as always is to get that variable by itself on one side of the equal sign. First thing you always want to do is make sure to change any subtraction to plus the opposite. In this case, I don't have any subtraction. So my next step is going to be to distribute through the parentheses. So 5 times 2x, that's 10x. 5 times 1 is 5, that's going to equal 10x. Next, I'm going to look for like terms. Remember, like terms must be on the same side of the equal sign. So the 10x here and the 10x here are not like terms because of that equal sign right there in the middle. Right? Now I need to get my variables on the same side of the equal sign. Take the variable from the right-hand side, move it to the left by adding the opposite. So I'm going to add negative 10x, and I'm going to add negative 10x. What's going to happen here is I'm going to get 0. Not 0x, I'm going to get 0 because those cancel out. I'm going to have plus 5. And don't forget, remember on the right-hand side of the equal sign, you always have to put a number as well. Everything canceled over there, so I have 0. 0 plus 5 is 5, and I end up with 5 equaling 0. You know you're going to get a weird answer because both of your variables disappeared and went to 0. If both your variables go to 0, that tells you you're either going to get no solution or all real number. We're not sure which one yet, but we know it's going to be at least one of those two. So now we need to look down here at what we think is our answer, 5 equaling 0. You need to ask yourself, will 5 ever equal 0? And hopefully you agree with me that the answer is no. 5 will never equal 0. Because this gives you a no answer, the final wording of your answer is no solution. No solution is your actual answer. 5 equaling 0 tells you what your answer is going to be, but you must write the words no solution. Now we have a good and a bad thing about these equations. Most of you will like it, okay, which is the good thing. There's no way to check these. If you get an answer of no solution or all real numbers, there's no way to check your work. You just have to trust that you did it right. The bad thing is that there's no way to check your answer and that you have to trust that you did it right. Because if you miss a sign anywhere in the problem, you're not going to be able to catch it. You're just going to have to trust yourself. In order to kind of help you, on both homeworks, quizzes, tests, those sort of things, I will tell you how many of these answers that you're going to find. So I'll say, okay, on your homework tonight, 2 of them will give you either all real numbers or no solution. So if you're going through your homework tonight and you end up with 4, then you know 2 of them are kind of probably wrong. It won't help you narrow it down any, but it'll at least let you know that maybe you need to go back and look at some of them. So we have one more to look at. Obviously, the next one's going to give us the all real numbers solution. So here we have one. It's going to end up giving us all real numbers. But like normal, we're just going to work through it. I'm actually going to work above the problem this time because I have a little bit more room. So I'm going to recopy it down. When I recopy it, if I see any subtraction signs, I'm going to change them to plus the opposite. In this problem, I actually do not have any subtraction signs, so we don't need to worry about that. Second step, take care of any parentheses, distribute through those parentheses. So I'm going to take the 2 times the 3x and the 2 times the 1. That's going to give me 6x plus 2. You might notice something at this point. You might notice that the left and the right-hand side of the equation match exactly. And that's usually a good hint that you might end up with all real numbers as your answer. But we want to keep working our way down through the problem. So next thing I'm going to do is look and see if there's any like terms. In this case, they're not. So I'm going to move the variable from the right-hand side to the left-hand side by adding the opposite. Both of my variables end up canceling out, giving me 0. If you remember from the last problem, I told you that if the variables cancel out, that again should be another hint that you're either going to get no solution or all real number. Well, 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 2 on the other side is 2. Now you need to ask yourself the question, does 2 equal 2? And hopefully you'll agree that 2 will always equal 2. Because 2 always equals 2 and you got a yes answer, all real numbers is your actual solution. All real numbers is what we need to see written on the paper. The 2 equals 2, that tells you that it's going to be all real numbers. Okay? But 2 equaling 2 is not your answer. Your answer is the all real numbers. So you have some of these to practice on your homework this evening. Some of them will work like normal and you'll get x equaling 4. Some of them will be no solution. Some of them will be all real number. Okay? And it should say at the top of the homework worksheet how many no solution all real number you can expect. But other than that, you should be good to go. Again, utilize those steps going down the right-hand side.